Hello and welcome to the Debating Toastcast, a podcast about all things debating, from the Debate Toastmasters Club, 104 London Debaters. Hello, well in this episode I am lucky enough to be joined by one of my fellow members of 104 London Debaters, namely Tomasz Zboril. Did I pronounce that correctly, Tom?
Yeah. As good as possible.
Now, Thomas has been an active member of the club, taking part in several debates, helping out with other supportive roles during debate meetings. But he's not only a debater, he's also been an active Toastmaster in a classic Toastmasters club. And we're going to talk about how Toastmasters in general, and then debating in particular, have been helpful to Thomas, both on a personal level and, very importantly, on a professional level. So, Tomasz, welcome to the Debating Toastcast.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Wonderful. Now, let's start with the beginning then. So, tell me first, if we are allowed to ask this question these days, where are you from originally, and obviously, where are you now, and sort of what brought you here?
No worries. Yeah. So originally I'm from Czech Republic. I currently live in London, and I think I moved to London like 4 years ago, and started my Toastmasters journey approximately 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful. And what brought you to London in the first place, if I may ask?
So it was job, and I just loved the city. Before that, I studied here, and at some point I decided this is the place where I want to stay. So
Fantastic.
that's it.
Yeah, no, I find London often has that effect on people. I came myself, from Norway back in '97 just to study and stay for a little while, and then stayed on. Although now I live in Colchester, which is Britain's oldest recorded town. We are very proud of that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, older than London. Can you believe it? Okay, well, I think first it might be for those who are not familiar with Toastmasters to just say a little bit about the difference between a classic Toastmasters club and 104. So what does a classic and a regular Toastmasters club, what does that do, and why did you join that in the first place?
So I think initially my goal was to just become more confident when I'm presenting. I work at a job where I have to present quite a lot, and throughout my life, I always wanted to be good at presenting, and somehow I always found myself to be a little bit more nervous than I wanted to be. So I joined the initial club because I just wanted to improve that skill, become more confident, get exposed, and just generally improve at presenting and public speaking.
Yeah. And of course, a classic Toastmasters club focuses on public speaking. So you tend to get up and give either speeches or presentations of 5 to 7 minutes, and then you get feedback from your fellow members, isn't it? That's sort of a key thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you joined also, you signed up to Toastmasters Pathway Systems. Can you just say a few words about what that is and how that is helpful?
So it is basically like a structure. It's an order of different speeches that you take to improve in public speaking. So you start with, like, let's say, more easy style of speeches that might take only about, I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then as you progress, the speeches get more complex. Sometimes you are supposed to also answer questions. So it's a great way to get that step-by-step exposure to different aspects of what public speaking is.
Exactly. Okay, and then after doing that for about a year, you came to 104 London Debaters. And what brought you to that club, to our club, to our debating Toastmasters club? What was it that attracted you to that?
So in my job, I improved thanks to the original Toastmasters club in presenting, and I started to present more and more. and I realized that the next sort of challenge for me is to debate and to be able to respond, um, stand up for like what I believe in, and similar things like that. So I decided, okay, let's have a look what kind of clubs are looking into this. What are the options? What are the formats that people join? And I realized that yeah, there is a Toastmasters club that's looking into exactly that. So it was sort of the most natural way of progressing
Yeah.
by joining another Toastmasters club.
Excellent. And I hope you found it enjoyable so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, you mentioned to me that Toastmasters and debating have both been helpful to you. I mean, you already said something about it now, and you mentioned it before, both personally and professionally. So perhaps could we first look at the sort of from a personal point of view, how do you find that Toastmasters and debating have helped you? Firstly, just on a personal, so leaving aside the professional bit for a for the first few minutes, and then just tell me how do you feel it's helped you purely personally?
I find myself to be just generally more confident when I'm talking about something.
Mm,
Toastmasters and the debating version of Toastmasters is amazing to teach you lots of like methods, how to answer, how to respond. So in my day-to-day life, it's just much more easier to uh, defend my arguments.
yes.
And it doesn't need to be arguments per se, but even if you have like a normal day-to-day discussion, I find, thinking clearly much easier.
Mm.
So that's absolutely amazing benefit of joining club like this.
Fascinating, fascinating. Yes, that no, I totally concur with that from my own experience as well. I find that it helps me also to understand the other person's point of view better because in our club, sometimes you are assigned to defend something you don't personally agree with,
Mm,
or oppose something you do agree with, and then you have to
mm-hmm,
try and understand the other side. And I feel, when you're able to do that, actually
mm,
you're a much better both conversationalist, but also a better person to debate with because you won't just be pushing hard your own opinion,
mm-hmm.
but you'll try and get the other side and you'll try and understand and see the other side, which then of course can make you more convincing, I think. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the great challenges of this club that you don't usually choose the topic. So you'll learn so much about different perspectives,
Yeah,
different like narratives that you wouldn't even think about from where you are when you are debating.
exactly. Yeah, no, I find sometimes when I take part in a debate, I actually learn a lot as well about the subject,
Mm,
because I wouldn't necessarily know about it before.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and then let's come on to the professional side of things then. So you've had a very impressive progress in your career as far as I can see, and I just see obviously the surface
Mhm.
that you share publicly. But perhaps you can tell us a little bit about then how you believe, again, Toastmasters and particularly debating have helped you within that sort of work setting and in your progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first sort of a big achievement after I joined Toastmasters was getting a new job. I changed jobs, and I found, the fact that I joined Toastmasters before helped me so much during a job interview. Like it's amazing. At that time, I was practicing presenting and public speaking all the time, basically in that previous club. So then you suddenly sit at a call like this, and you are asked something and you just keep talking. So that was definitely the first big achievement. And then in that new job, quite recently, I got promoted, and it was
Congratulations.
again, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's yeah, still can't believe it, but yeah, I can definitely see the positive impact that Toastmasters had on that as well, because you know sometimes at my job, I'm presenting to like large groups of people, to people like 90 people are in the room and you have to
Wow.
present something,
Mm.
or you have to present something to someone very senior who is then going to ask you oftentimes very difficult questions,
Yes.
and all of this, Toastmasters massively helped with.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. Well, just as you were talking, I was thinking how actually helpful table topics can be. So,
Yeah.
so just for anyone listening who's not familiar with what that is, so within Toastmasters, in a classic Toastmasters club, there will be someone called a table topic master, and he or she will prepare a few topics and then tell the audience, okay, let's have, for example, John, you speak for 2 minutes on what I love about London transport, for example. And then he has to get up and just give a short speech about that. And then within our club, in a debating Toastmasters club, we do these as mini debates, which are completely improvised. So the debate chair, the table topic debate chair, may ask, for example, someone, I'd say, right, Jenny, you have to get up now and defend the motion. This house would introduce the kilt as a school uniform across all schools in Great Britain. And then she has to get up and just defend that motion and present it. And then the next person has to get up and oppose that. So did you find that challenging when you first came to our club, Thomas?
I mean, I still find those challenging. That's like a scariest part of Toastmasters for me.
Yes, I bet.
But oftentimes, it's also the most beneficial part because it's the part that you can, I think, least control. You just don't know what's coming. There is no way to prepare for it. There is no way to plan for it. It's literally just you presenting something or debating something at the moment.
Yeah,
So I find these to be really, really helpful. Like if you have any sort of public speaking anxiety, this is the best exposure you can get. This is like that
yeah.
experience that you should get as much as possible to get rid of that anxiety.
And of course, you are still a member, I'm glad to say, of 104 London Debaters, although you are, of course,
Yeah,
very, very busy with work now these days with your new position. I guess that's the price you pay for success. No,
exactly.
no time to do other things. Um, have you got any sort of Toastmasters goals still to reach, would you say, in the next few months or years?
Toastmasters goals. You see, I think from a long term, I'm definitely planning to stay a member and keep getting that exposure
Mm,
because I think, you know, lots of times it happens that you just need to keep practicing these things. Just
mm,
because you don't have presenting anxiety now
mm.
doesn't mean you won't have it in like a year's time if you stop doing it completely. So I think it's always great to be member of a club like this, and kind of keep maintaining that skill.
Yeah.
I definitely think that, it's like going to a gym, you just need
Yeah.
to keep going to maintain the muscles. So this is the same.
That's a good analogy, and of course, also it should be said it's quite fun, isn't it?
It is, yeah, yeah. You meet lots of great people there.
Mm.
Um, and I mean, what else would you do on the weekend night, on the weeknight?
On a weeknight, exactly. Yeah. No, well, why sit in front of the television when you can come and actually
Exactly,
debate
yeah.
something funny? Yeah.
Do something
Um.
for yourself, meet great people,
mm,
get rid of your social presenting, public speaking anxiety, and
yeah.
yeah,
ab-
just
uh,
have fun.
Absolutely. Now, I heard you. The last time I think I heard your debate was a few weeks ago, and the debate was on the motion this house would leave museum artifacts where they are, and
Hmm.
so basically not repatriate them or send them to whoever claims they belong to their country or culture.
Hmm.
And that was what the proposition put forward. But you, of course, you were on the opposition, and you were one of the what we call the rebuttal speakers for the opposition.
Hmm.
And I seem to remember your side won that debate. So well
Yep,
done.
we did. Thank you.
I think your speech actually was a great contribution because I remember you told a story as part of your speech where you traveled to Sweden and you went
Mm-hmm.
to a museum, found some Czech artifacts. So that's your home country, obviously, like you mentioned, Czech Republic,
Mm-hmm.
and you made a very emotional appeal, saying these artifacts, rightfully belong in the Czech Republic. And of course, I should mention at this point, important that in all our debates we follow something called the Chatham House rule. So whatever Thomas or anybody said in that debate or any debates is not regarded as his own personal views or their own personal views. And we also are not actually allowed to refer to what people said in the meeting outside of the meeting by name. So we never say John said this or Mary said that. However, today I did ask before this podcast, I asked Thomas if it was okay to
Yeah.
refer to this speech for the
Yeah.
purpose of our conversation. Yeah. So he agreed to that. Now, so I just wanted to ask you see, a little bit about, so because this will be interesting, particularly for those who are new to debating or perhaps just listening to this and not really familiar with how we do things in our club. How did you prepare for that debate? Because you're in the opposition, so you don't know exactly what the proposition will say. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so you had to oppose this motion. That's all you knew. You had to oppose the motion that artifacts should stay where they are. So how did you go about preparing for that?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, we started by trying to figure out what the other side is going to argue.
Mm.
Um, and we would sort of work and plan around that. There are some, when you look up things online, there are some general debates. There's some general discourse around the artifacts. Um, so you kind of need to research that and then sort of narrow it down into something. Okay, what those guys actually are going to say,
Yeah.
and then you would start usually think about, okay, so we can counter argue at that. What else can we bring into the discussion to win this debate? And that's when things like personal stories come in, um, and generally, that's where you are supposed to win the debate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that's a good point because I mean, I recently did a workshop on rebuttal, and we've actually also got that as a podcast. So for those who haven't heard that, that was the previous episode on how to do rebuttals effectively. And actually, one of the points of the rebuttal speech is to introduce that emotional element to make people engaged on an emotional level so that you bring them over to your side and you want them to see things from your point of view
Mm.
and thus help them to decide how to vote in that final vote after the debate. So yeah, so it was very interesting how you brought in that emotional side.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting because when you are researching this and thinking what the other side is going to say,
Hmm.
like you discover so much about like the opposing argument, about your argument, even about yourself, like how much certain topics resonate with you. I knew almost nothing about this topic before I started preparing for the speech.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was really fascinating process when preparing for this. As you research, you start really challenging what you think about the world because
Yeah.
uh, I think winning the debate starts with convincing yourself that you are right. So
Yes.
once you manage that, you suddenly unlock a different kind of confidence for arguing and stuff. And you just believe, okay, but I am actually right,
Of course, hopefully. Yeah, no, I think sometimes it is possible that you actually
Mm,
in the course of
yeah,
research find that
yeah,
I was wrong about something, on a personal
yeah,
level, like actually,
yeah.
oh, I because I didn't know that. Well, I'm interested in what you said also about how you had to first ask yourself, well, what will the other side say? Because that goes back to the point I made earlier, isn't it? That you
Mm.
actually you develop a better ability to understand the other point of view as well, that they are not crazy just because they disagree.
It's a big challenge, because there is not that much communication between both sides when they are preparing. So
No.
yeah, lots of the things are surprise. So
Yeah.
sometimes you even start thinking, what would this specific person say? Is this something
Mm.
they would say, you know?
Oh yeah. Is it like
Yeah,
is
yeah.
he or
So
she
yeah,
likely to
exactly.
that
Yeah,
particular?
yeah. He or she says this. So
Mm.
yeah, it's lots of fun, big challenge, and for me personally, I just do more research on the topic. That's sort of my key strategy. It's not for everybody. I think
Yeah.
some people prepare to generally do less research for the debate, but to me it really helps to kind of put together all the arguments and all the pieces together, and then I can say, okay, you know, in general, public space, this is
Yeah.
said. So I'm imagining they're going to be using this argument in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but obviously, you can never really guess everything what they're going to say.
No.
So you still have to improvise a lot in the debate itself,
Yes.
and that's when really the debating skills come in because you never know exactly what's coming.
Exactly, yeah. And you have to engage with the other side. That's the whole point of what we call the clash in debating, that you
Mm-hmm.
you listen carefully to what they say, and then you
Mm-hmm.
actually have to respond to that and not just repeat whatever you may have prepared in advance because it may not fit, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
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 No, and I also I take your point about research. I find as well. I'm a big sort of research fanatic, really. So, but because I find that whichever team has done the best preparation tend to win the
Mm,
debate.
mm,
That's generally the rule. Yeah.
yeah.
But okay,
Yeah.
no, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Thomas, for taking time to talk to me today. This has been a very enjoyable conversation.
Same. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah. And I'll see you at the next debate.
Uh, Absolutely, yes. I'm looking forward to that. One question before we finish. Um,
Mhm.
have you ever had any mentoring within the club? Did you take part in the mentoring program at all, or not?
I think I did a bit. Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh,
had like a few mentors giving me feedback after the speeches.
yeah,
So that was really, really helpful. Um, it's really interesting because um, sometimes people tend to be quite conscious of what they say during the debates. So like lots of times it happens that yeah, mentor tells you something and you're like, yeah, yeah, I actually saw it as well. I think this is the thing I should improve. So
yes,
it's
yeah.
really great to have that other point of view, that they confirm, yeah, this is what's the next challenge.
Absolutely. Yes, no, it just confirms something that you
Mm,
realize that, yeah.
mm,
And sometimes, they will pick up on something that you didn't realize.
mm.
I know that's been very helpful to me personally, yeah,
Absolutely.
certainly. Mm. And just to say, everyone who becomes a member of 104 London Debaters also will get the offer of mentoring. And of course, when you take part in a debate, um, you are, as I think Thomas mentioned there, part of a team. And some of those debaters will be more experienced debaters. So you'll be supported by them and also usually a debate coach to help and guide the team to make, a really strong case and perhaps sometimes be the devil's advocate and just ask, well, the other side might say. So perhaps it's just very finally, I
Hmm.
know I said finally, but finally, just
Yeah.
two words about how you found having a debate coach. Is that useful at all, or was it annoying? Or
No, no, I think it's really useful, especially when you are starting with this club. Um, it's great to have guidance and somebody who just gives the team the direction. Um, Generally, yeah, it's good because the mentor, the coaches, they don't really like tell you what to say. It's still 100% up to you to kind of research everything, prepare the arguments.
yeah,
But like sometimes there is something that maybe you missed, so the coach is going to point you in a right direction when that happens.
yeah, yeah.
So it absolutely helps you to prepare for the debate.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I find that as well. And I mean, I'm a debate coach myself, but I often, even if I'm on a team, I often like to just ask another coach to have a listen to our arguments and see what they think about it, just to give us a bit of feedback, to get that outside objective view on it. So yeah. Good. Well, with that, I think it's time to say thank you very much to Tomasz Boril. That's the best it's going to get. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much, Thomas, for agreeing to do this. And see you at the next debate.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll see you there.
Cheerio. Bye then.
You've been listening to the Debating Toastcast. Feel free to leave a comment, critical or encouraging. We welcome both. And if you'd like more information about joining the club or coming first as a guest, please have a look at our website, 104londondebaters.club, or send us an email on info@104londondebaters.club. That's info@104londondebaters.club. Thank you for listening.